Today on Monkey Life, a baby marmoset is looking for a new mum and dad.
You're gonna have to be brave. I know. You're gonna have to be brave. Good girl.
Bachelor chimp Paco is in the wars with an injured toe.
I'd cut that whole bit off.
And a heart scare.
I think that's just going to cause more problems than good. It's not going to ultimately benefit him in any way, is it?
Plus, the nursery orangs box clever at playtime. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
They're all going to have a chance to live proper lives again. Perfect.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 20 different species. It's been a busy time at the park with a series of arrivals.
That's a big noise.
And departures.
You've been a really good girl.
Keeping the whole team on their toes.
Good girl. Okay?
With so many animals needing care, there's no end to their work.
Yeah, well then.
And sadly, with the primate pet trade in the UK on the rise, the demands on the park keep increasing. In the last few years, they've been inundated with marmosets needing rescue. To meet demand, 2 new complexes were built to house these tiny monkeys, but they're already full to capacity. Today, despite this, Alison has travelled to Cardiff to meet up with Sophie from the RSPCA. The charity has been told about a young marmoset, about 4 months old, being kept in a high-rise flat in the city centre. They've persuaded the owner to let the youngster come to Monkey World. The fact this little one is so young is what makes a difference.
If the marmosets come to Monkey World and they're 9 to 10 months old or younger, they appear as babies and they still have very baby-like behavior, and we can give them to a rehabilitated adult pair at the park who will adopt the infants. So luckily for little Moon, she's young enough that I think that we'll be able to get her back to the park and get her adopted.
Moon's owner bought her after seeing an advert on the internet. She paid about £1,000 for the marmoset.
How long have you had her?
A month and 12 days.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought her.
After speaking to Alison, she's realised Moon will be happier living with her own species under the expert care Monkey World can provide, and she's happy to cooperate. The majority of people who buy small primates from the pet trade are unaware what keeping one actually entails. But Sophie from the RSPCA is aware that it's a specialist job, which is why she's called in Alison.
Primates is something that we have very little knowledge of. It's not something that we see every day. It's not something we see every year. And when we do get a case like this, we need to go to the experts who can help us provide what that animal needs. We just don't have the knowledge of everything.
Good girl.
Alison wants to assess Moon first and gain her trust before attempting to handle her.
It's great that she's so active, but, you know, really at this age, what she needs most of all is adult marmosets to be living with and looking after. She should still be with her parents. So probably 4 months old is probably a fair estimate, I would say. She's clearly very playful.
You're gonna have to be brave. I know. You're gonna have to be brave. Good girl.
Alison is keen to get as much information as possible from the owner about her dealings with the breeder and what she was told about the tiny monkey.
The other question, did he sell you a common marmoset? Do you remember? Or just a marmoset?
Just a one.
Yeah, because I think she might end up being, it's hard to say. She's so young, it's hard to say whether she is going to grow white ear tufts and so on, but she's a very dark color. So it might be that she's a black-eared marmoset. The two species are very, very closely related. So if I can convince her to walk into the box willingly, are you okay? Do you need to say goodbye to her first of all? Are you okay if I get her to go inside the box?
Yeah, we can.
Alison has managed to establish a bond of trust with Moon, and with the help of a few waxworms, the young marmoset goes happily into the box. But for her owner, it's not so easy.
You're being very strong, and I can say thank you for Moon, because we will give her a family back again. All right, my sister, you come and visit us, please. Okay, thank you. I will let you know how she goes.
It's an emotional goodbye, but her owner knows Moon is off to a much better and happier life. In the last few months, there's been a lot of change at the park's orangutan nursery, especially for the two youngest members, Bulu Mata and Rika. Both arrived at the park as babies and were hand-reared by staff at the park's creche for orphaned orangs. They were carefully introduced to their new Monkey World family, meeting new friends one at a time. And there were high hopes they would all live harmoniously as one group. Unfortunately, those hopes were dashed when 7-year-old Jin, who was born at the park, became too boisterous in the play sessions with the two youngsters. So, for the time being, it's been decided to run the nursery as two separate groups, with Bulu and Rika staying with Oshin and 6-year-old Sylvester, and Xiao Kuai staying with her two children, Jin, and 4-year-old adopted daughter, Awan. For the primate care team, this means balancing the two groups. So while they're keeping one happy inside, the other gets to play outside. Today, at the outdoor enclosure, staff are distributing cardboard boxes filled with sunflower seeds and covered with wood wool, and it's Xiao Kuai, Awan and Jin's turn to have full run. Orangs love a new challenge, and this is a real treat for the youngsters. What child doesn't love a cardboard box? Meanwhile, inside, Oshin's gang of kids have the playroom all to themselves for fun and frolics. Jin's approach is tentative before his stomach gets the better of him. While Xiao Kuai is determined to shake every last seed from the wood wool. And clever Awan is carefully picking up any leftover seeds spilt by her mum and brother. Meanwhile, inside the nursery, it's raining food. And where there's food to be had, the usually lethargic Oshin will suddenly make an energetic appearance. Rika is grabbing her share while she can. Bulu tries to tempt Oshin up to play. With no success. But luckily, fellow boisterous boy Sylvester is happy to oblige. Outside, the boxes have all gone down a storm. While Jin is still searching for sunflower seeds, Xiao Kuai watches as her daughter Awan proves that, for her, a cardboard box or two is all you need to have fun. But trying to fit one box inside the other is proving rather difficult. So she makes a cardboard house instead. The park is home to 4 groups of chimpanzees. Hananya has been in charge of his troop of 18 chimps since 2004. His leadership style is brawn over brain, but seems to work. And then there's Paddy's gang, 17 boys and girls, including his cheeky son, Bart. Paddy was one of the first chimps to arrive at Monkey World and has been leader for almost 30 years. The smallest group is Sally's. Only 4 others live with her. And then there are the rowdy Bachelor boys, 15 males all living together, who like nothing better than playing rough and making a din. Recently, during one of their more boisterous sessions, Paco sustained a nasty injury to one of his toes. Chimps have a relatively high pain threshold and can often carry on with quite substantial injuries, but the usually strong Paco seems to be in pain. More worryingly, staff have also noticed he appears to have had a couple of funny turns recently, and the concern is that Paco may have an underlying heart condition. He needs a thorough health check, so specialist wildlife vet John Lewis has been called in.
Because there's been a suspicion raised against his cardiac function, we need to know if that's real or not, because if it is, we can probably medicate to improve things. If it's not, we'll leave him alone.
The team don't want to take any chances with Paco, so they've also called in local vet Dave Harding. Dave will perform an ECG plus an ultrasound and also treat the infected toe. If Paco does have a heart condition, John Lewis wants to keep his anaesthetic to a minimum. So rather than perform the procedure in the park's hospital, the team are going to do it in one of the bedrooms at the Bachelor's.
I'd rather anaesthetise him in the den, put him up on a shelf where the echo can be conducted by Dave from the local practice, and then if anything happens, we can instantly reverse him, support him down there. We don't have to move him back. We don't have safety issues. We don't have transport issues. So Paco's heart may be absolutely fine, but we're not going to take a chance.
Paco has been hand-injected with the anaesthetic by Cara, one of the primate care team.
That's okay, cool.
With the dosage kept to a minimum, John and Dave need to work quickly to get him intubated and in position so they can carry out both the heart tests and the surgery needed on the toe.
Right, let's see if we can get this ECG attached. Hang on.
The park's animal director, Jeremy Keeling, is on hand to assist the vets with the procedure.
That's better. There you go. You've got a trace there, John.
Dave is going to carry out the ultrasound first, but for the test to work properly, Paco needs to be manoeuvred into position. The bedroom's a bit of a tight squeeze, and with time against them, it's all hands on deck.
So what we want to try and do is get this bit down there. So we want him sort of lying on his right-hand side, head. Yeah. That's okay, I'm still right there.
Happy with Paco's position, Dave can now perform the ultrasound scan to check his heart.
Okay, the mitral valves look good. Okay, so that's the aortic valve in the middle, and that's the left atrium down the bottom there. So that looks pretty all right to me.
So what we're doing is we're looking at all the heart valves just to check that there's no evidence of any thickening of the valves, suggesting that there's some deterioration in the quality of how they're working, and also to see if there's any leakage of blood across the valves. They all look really quite nice. There's no evidence of any problems there. The heart's contracting nicely. So I'm pretty pleased with the way the heart seems to be functioning. The other thing that we're looking for is any areas where there might be some scarring on the heart, which may suggest some previous evidence of heart damage or in human terms, a heart attack. And we can normally see that as bright white areas within the heart muscle, and it all looks fine. So I'm pretty happy with the overall appearance of the heart.
A relief for the team, but Dave does still need to carry out an electrocardiogram, which measures the electrical activity of the heart.
There's nothing that concerns me. The heart rate's pretty normal. So I think we can be pretty happy that there's no major heart issue.
It's great news for Paco and the team. Finally, Dave takes a look at the injured toe.
Maybe that needs bits of bone removing.
I'd cut that whole bit off. I think that's just going to cause more problems than good. It's not going to ultimately benefit him in any way, is it, having that flap?
Decision made, Dave wastes no time in removing what's left of Paco's toe. It's a quick procedure.
Hopefully now we've taken that flap off, it'll heal much better. It looks pretty good.
John gives Paco a reversal agent for the anaesthetic to bring him round. He wakes up looking a bit groggy and wondering what all the fuss is about. He'll soon be back on his feet, minus one little toe, and causing mayhem with his rowdy bachelor boy pals. At Tao's enclosure, the primate care team are about to give the capuchins a tasty challenge. They've replicated something the group might find in their natural habitat.
It's a fake mound with holes in, which is these perspex pipes. We'll fill these with treats, and then the capuchins have to use the sticks that we provide to dig into the holes to get to the food. Obviously, it's not grubs, doesn't work quite as well, but it's the same sort of idea.
In the wild, the mound would be teeming with termites, but today the tubes are filled with rice pudding and a syrupy Marmite concoction. Hopefully the capuchins will love it and not hate it. Capuchins are known for their intelligence, coordination and tool use. In nature, they show remarkable skill termite fishing by poking sticks into the mounds. The termites automatically defend their nests by attaching to the sticks, and the capuchins then pull out the sticks and eat the termites.
This is some twigs, so that they can use as the tools to get the treats out of the tubes. They could go and search for them, but these guys kind of need a little bit of help. So we're hoping that if we put it in the holes to begin with, they'll take it out, realise that there's some food in there, and then it'll hopefully encourage them to re-stick it back in the hole again.
Curious Bubbles is first to take a look at this strange new object. But she ignores the sticks, instead choosing the easy option. Tao's second-in-command, Bruce, is next to check out the mound. He gives it the full inspection and even pulls out a stick to get to the treat. But then discards it, so obviously a Marmite hater. Close, but not quite there. Meanwhile, leader Tao seems more interested in technology than joining in. Once content that the little camera is no threat, he moves on. As leader and protector of 16 ladies, he has his work cut out, though he's not short of admirers, as Daisy and Ruby love to flirt with him. It's left to Debbie to show the rest how it's done. She's quite high in the group's hierarchy and a big favourite with Tao. She's also proving to be highly intelligent. At first, she uses just her hand to claw out the treats, but after stepping back and thinking through the problem, she successfully comes up with a solution. She inserts the stick not just once, but goes back for more and more. Like the others, Debbie came from a lab, but was born in the wild, not captive bred, which may explain her natural ability. Dominant female Babe, however, has got the wrong end of the stick with this task. Fifi is doing what capuchins love to do, foraging in the undergrowth for worms and bugs. And even the cleverer ones get it wrong sometimes. In her enthusiasm, Debbie grabs the wrong end of the stick, but then realises her mistake and is straight back to enjoying the yummy porridge.
guys are so intelligent, and anything that we can give them to try and encourage them to use that really powerful brain and work things out is really important. So yeah, it's always nice to do something different, and when you see them getting stuck in, it's really, really good.
Alison is just arriving back at the park with 4-month-old marmoset Moon, a victim of the British pet trade. The team are hoping that, because she's still a baby, one of the established marmoset pairs at the park will adopt Moon as their own.
Hey, little girl.
Is she definitely a girl?
No.
Hello.
Determining the sex of a marmoset is always a challenge, but at such a young age, it's almost impossible.
It's gonna be a boy, isn't it? It's always a boy.
There's definitely a little point.
Little girl.
Little boy.
Little boy.
You think?
It is?
I am thinking. There's one. It's questionable. At this age, it's really hard to tell whether Moon is a boy or a girl, but we're sort of leaning more towards boy right now. So, hi. Hi, you. I know. She or he's got his blanket in there that has his scent on, but to be quite honest, he's just adapted to the branches and everything really well. So I think he'll be okay in here for tonight. And tomorrow we can start with intros.
Once settled, Moon will be introduced to adult pair Solomon and Hazel. Solomon came to the park in 2001, whereas Hazel was born here. Now a happily established pair, the team are hoping that they'll take little Moon under their wing. For now, Karen will keep monitoring Moon and decide when to start the introductions, but it's looking very promising for the little newcomer, even if no one is quite sure whether to address Moon as he or she.
She actually looks pretty good. She looks in pretty good condition. Obviously very active, very lively, very confident. Yeah, fingers crossed it all looks bright for him. He's at a good age that we can hopefully do sort out a little family for him.
Today on Monkey Life.
Piquita!
It's all about new arrivals. Piquita might be expecting one.
We're pretty confident that she's pregnant.
Marmosets Hazel and Solomon get to meet one.
Oh, little kisses. Hey, Mummy.
And the park gets ready for 5 unusual nocturnal guests from 6,000 miles away. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Smells a bit macaque in there, but yeah, we're good.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 20 different species. Over the last decade, Monkey World has led the way in the successful breeding and care of woolly monkeys. Sadly, their numbers are greatly in decline in their South American habitats, and also in captivity. Monkey World has over 50% of the world's captive population. Over at the top Woolies enclosure, one of the park's more successful mums is Piquita. She's had 4 babies, and the primate care team are hoping it won't be long before another is on the way.
She's certainly put on weight, so obviously that could be an indication. She's also starting to look quite uncomfortable, so when she's sitting down you can see her kind of stretching and just generally looking like quite an uncomfortable pregnant lady. And we have seen her at the water bowl a little bit more often than we normally would, so all of those signs kind of added together make us think that she is pregnant again.
Piquita!
To find out if the woolly is expecting again, Emily uses reward-based clicker training. It allows her to get close to Piquita and have a feel of her stomach.
Good girl.
After Emily's careful inspection, it seems it's good news for the top woolies.
Quite often you can start to feel bumps and lumps as the baby's developing. With Piquita, it's a little bit tricky. She is a slightly larger lady. She does enjoy her food quite a lot. So there is a little bit of an extra layer that you kind of have to feel through before you can actually feel if the baby's there.
But the big question is, who's the daddy? With woolly monkeys, it's often difficult to guess what stage of their pregnancy they're in. Just a few months ago, the previous elderly dominant male Oscar sadly passed away. If the baby comes soon, it's pretty likely he's the father. This would be a lovely legacy for Oscar, because despite his leadership role, he didn't have many babies over the years. However, if Piquita keeps everyone waiting for longer, then it's highly likely the new infant is Chippy's, who took over after Oscar's death.
He's a very handsome, dominant male, so I'm sure he'll produce a very good-looking baby. But also it means that he's settled into the group very nicely. He's obviously building very good relationships with the females and they've accepted him fully as their dominant male.
For now, it's just a waiting game, but Emily's confident that Piquita is getting bigger for all the right reasons.
I have felt a few kind of bumps and lumps that are developing over the weeks, but obviously I'll just keep checking her every single day and hopefully as the baby grows they'll become even more evident.
It's been less than 24 hours since Alison returned from Cardiff with a 4-month-old marmoset called Moon. His owner bought him through the pet trade, but agreed he would be happier living with his own species at the park. The team aren't 100% sure of Moon's sex, but they think it's a boy. Because he's still a baby, he needs an adoptive family. So this morning, Moon is going to meet Hazel and Solomon, who hopefully will give him the support he needs.
Fingers crossed, they'll love him because he's little, and their parental instincts will kick in, and he'll create a nice little family. Obviously, we don't know when he last saw his parents. We don't know how old he was when they took him away from his parents, so hopefully he'll know the right noises and respond well to them when he sees them.
Moon is in his nesting box as Karen pulls back the slide to let Hazel in to meet him. Hazel was born at the park 13 years ago, reared in a family group by her parents and with younger siblings, so she does have some experience to draw on. Karen is hoping this stable family background will spark the right instincts. It's a cautious start. Moon hasn't been in contact with another marmoset since being taken from his parents, so he's understandably wary. Hazel is definitely interested, and after poking her head in the nest box, she goes right in to check Moon out. It's reasonably positive so far. Both are cautiously curious and making the right sort of noises, using contact calls and greetings. Karen decides it's time to add Solomon to the mix. His history is not dissimilar to Moon's. He too was a tiny baby when he arrived at the park. He was successfully adopted and has since thrived.
It's a wait and see time. We've never put a youngster with this pair before, so it is always a kind of a bit of guesswork to see whether it will work. But yeah, we'll give it a go and see what happens. Are you ready, Solomon? Ready?
Solomon's arrival has an immediate effect on Moon. He leaves the safety of his box and tries to jump on Solomon's back. Typical baby marmoset behaviour. But Solomon's not so keen. Maybe too much too soon? Undeterred and getting more confident by the minute, Moon tries again, and this time gets close enough to Hazel for a cuddle.
Oh, little kisses. Hey, Mommy.
Hazel's maternal instincts kick in, and she reciprocates. Before long, both adults become more and more protective of Moon.
Relieved so far, but you never know what's going to happen. And if we're not 100% sure, then we'll separate them and we'll go again tomorrow. So we'll just get them carrying on and living their life as normal.
Even though Moon has had more human than marmoset contact throughout his short life, the success of this introduction just goes to show how much primates, like Moon, need to be with others of their own kind. The team are quietly confident that Tiny Primate has found a family to help with his new life. At Peanut's enclosure, life has changed quite a bit in the last few months for the golden-cheeked gibbons. Following Tio's move to the Bachelor group, the family are down to 3. Dad Peng Yo, Mum Peanut, and young adult daughter Tia Nang. For Peanut, this is the first time since their eldest son Tien was born almost 11 years ago that there hasn't been a youngster in the group.
Peanut now is actually loving life. She's got a chance to just relax and take life easy. For a long time, she has been a full-time mother. She's had young children to look after. And now, with our youngest having moved out, Tia Nang's now an adult female, and she can actually just spend time relaxing and interacting with her without having to take care of her. And it's really lovely to see. But at the moment, they are a very relaxed and happy group and looking pretty good together.
Daughter Tia Nang has just gone through her second colour change. Now she's become a young adult, she's interacting more and more with both parents. She's always been very close to her mum, but is also enjoying hanging out with Dad, Peng Yo.
For a good period of time, they were quite separate and didn't actually have any kind of interaction. It's now really nice to see that she's gone through that and she actually wants to spend time again with both of her parents, and that is really lovely.
Dad Peng Yo had a tough start in life. He was stolen from the wild as a baby and confiscated by the authorities while being smuggled into Taiwan. After being rescued, he was moved to Monkey World. Once he was paired up with Peanut, he didn't look back.
He's done an incredible job of being a dad. Now, he's got probably one of our most grumpy females to actually live with. She is hard work, Peanut, and he does actually tolerate her really quite well. He's very great with the kids. He's always spent lots of time loving them and hugging them and playing with them. But when Peanut's nearby, he tends to take more of a back seat and just keep on with territorial displays.
He's also one of the fastest movers in the park.
Without a shadow of a doubt, our most agile and incredible gibbon to watch is Peng Yo. He is just fantastic in the trees. He is so quick. He makes everything look completely effortless, and he's a very handsome looking chap as well.
The only problem for staff now that Tia Nang has become an adult is trying to distinguish between her and Mum Peanut. Luckily, nature has played a helping hand.
At the moment, Peanut is almost fluorescent orange. She is really, really dark, and it does actually help us to distinguish between her and Tia Nang from a distance. At the park's hospital building, it's all hands on deck as staff put the finishing touches to new bedrooms for some long-awaited special arrivals.
You might not recognize it, but this is actually our hospital, and inside what was designed originally to be the recovery area of our hospital, which we've never really used, we've decided to kit it out with some bedrooms, and this is now our new Loris complex. So I'm very excited because this is the start of a new thing for us here at the park in assisting with the care, rehabilitation and conservation of slow loris. Beautiful, aren't they? Yeah.
Tomorrow morning, 5 slow loris are due to arrive from Hong Kong. Slow loris are nocturnal primates from Southeast Asia, and due to a dramatic rise in the illegal pet trade, all 8 species are vulnerable or endangered and receive the highest level of protection under international law.
Yeah, so all looking good.
All 5 have been confiscated by the authorities from black market traders who smuggled them from the wild. Monkey World does have experience with lorises. Its sister sanctuary in Vietnam, Dao Tien, has rescued and rehabilitated many pygmy slow loris and has released more than 30 back into the wild.
Hello, my friend.
And 2 years ago, Alison went to the Maldives to collect Boo, a Bengal slow loris who had been confiscated by the authorities there.
Okay. Last towns?
She was brought back to the park, which acted as the quarantine centre before she could transfer to a wildlife trust in Devon. The 5 loris, 3 males and 2 females, will spend 4 months in quarantine. Then, they too will move to Devon, where they'll be part of a brand new European breeding programme to help secure this endangered species.
We're going to be able to pair them up, so 2 male-female pairs, and then that leaves 1 surplus male to be a companion for the female Boo, who I brought back from the Maldives. So I'm just really pleased that something that we started 2 years ago and helping with is now coming back around and we're able to help more. And very exciting time because 5 slow loris coming into any one place is very rare.
Alison frequently gets reports and photos of loris being offered for sale on the black market. Originally stolen for traditional medicine purposes, many loris are now being illegally poached to become pets, or even to be used in the tourist industry. For these shy, nocturnal creatures, being snatched out of their natural habitat is extremely distressing, and most are very poorly cared for.
I'm receiving photo after photo after photo of loris being used as beach photographers' props, mainly in Turkey right now, but also in the Russian Federation, and also, it's a native country, but in Thailand.
But for these 5, absolutely everything is being done to make sure they have all they need, and the excitement is building in what is the start of a whole new loris project for everyone at Monkey World. Breakfast time is always a highlight for the chimps, but today, Hananya's group of 19 are having breakfast with a twist. The primate care staff are filling the enclosure's empty pond with as much straw and dry leaves as they can. And rather than their usual varieties of fruit and veg, the team are putting whole limes among the leaves, as well as a scatter feed of seed and cereal. The chimps will have to hunt for their breakfast and track down this excellent source of vitamin C. The team are also placing a few extra limes around the rest of the enclosure to give the entire group a fair chance to get some breakfast. Not much gets past this gang. Chimps are highly intelligent, and they soon realise there's something very different about the previously empty pond. They make a beeline straight for it, and Johnny is particularly excited about what she might find. It doesn't take long to work out breakfast is buried among the leaves, and the group are soon busy foraging for food. Cherry has already purloined a handful. Even little Thelma drops in, keen to check what's on offer. Valerie's not bothered about seeds and nuts. She's nabbed 3 limes and is heading high to eat breakfast in peace. While Kiki decides the sanctuary of long grass is a safer bet to eat hers. Even low rankers like Arthur are allowed to join in, although he's always wary of what's going on around him. But in chimp society, there will always be squabbles, especially where there's food, and Evelyn puts Johnny in her place. Though for others like Marjolaine and Tootie, a hug and a kiss can settle matters just as easily. Even Hananya's gone quiet. It's a good form of enrichment and a great start to the chimp's day. At 3 years old, Thelma is the youngest chimp in the park. Daughter of Hananya and Cherry, she's loved by all the chimps in the group and has the run of their territory. But when it comes to food, it's generally every chimp for his or herself. As charming as Thelma is, she's not a baby anymore, and Arthur's not giving up his breakfast for anyone. So she goes back to doing what she likes best, having fun. The youngster loves playing with and chasing all the adults in the group, and they all indulge her. But Mum Cherry is always around just to keep an eye out and provide a hug. With breakfast almost over, there's work to be done. Some, like Evelyn, Simon and Valerie, are on patrol, with Cherry and Thelma now bringing up the rear. Shamak is checking the boundary in his own unique way, while Hananya keeps a wary eye on events. But some of the girls have had enough for one morning. Peggy is off to make her nest, while Trudy and Kiki are doing their best to wrap up warm from the cold, ready for a mid-morning nap. And the boss of the group, well, he's still munching. A leader needs to keep his strength up. "6,000 miles away and half an hour outside the bustle of Hong Kong City, at Kadoorie Farm and Botanic Gardens Rescue Centre, 5 Bengal slow loris are preparing to leave their home to begin a new life in the UK. Monkey World is going to act as a quarantine centre for the 3 male and 2 female loris before they head to their new permanent home at the Sheldon Wildlife Trust in Devon.
Pleased to have found a good placement solution for these animals, and Monkey World are going to be a critical partner in this exchange. They'll be receiving the animals and quarantining them and helping to move them on eventually to their final homes in the Sheldon Wildlife Trust. It's a great thing that we can manage to find a partnership like this. We've worked hard for years to find this placement. I really hope this one is a successful placement.
The 5 slow loris arrived at the centre via different routes, either confiscated by the authorities or surrendered to local animal welfare officers. They've all been stolen from the wild by black market traders, but no one is sure of their origin.
Illegal trade is clandestine, it's hidden, so we can't be exactly sure where they're coming from, but the most likely source countries are going to be Vietnam, Cambodia, maybe northern Thailand, some of them possibly that reach Hong Kong coming from a bit further south, possibly coming from Indonesia. So by the time they reach somewhere like our rescue centre, they've been through an arduous journey and a lot of stress. That means when we get them here, many of them are actually in pretty poor condition.
The Rescue and Conservation Centre has been running for more than 20 years, and in that time has taken in over 60 loris.
Yeah, the gums are good, the teeth are nice and clean. Okay, the heart is very good.
Today, the vet has been called in for a final health check, clearing the loris as fit to fly.
The animal seems to be in perfect condition to go back to the UK.
Next test is the shipping crate.
Oh, she went quiet there. Straight on the pole, look.
That went well. After such a bad start in life, Paul is determined that all the loris will be as safe and comfortable as possible for the long journey ahead of them.
She's using the grab rail. Looks like it's working anyway. She's taken to the resting shelf really well and used that grab rail as she went in, so that's just perfect. Planning for this transfer has been sort of afoot for probably now up to 2 years, so we really hope that the final stage, the shipment, the movement, the transfer, the quarantine, all goes well, and that the animals arrive safely and comfortably without too much stress at the other end.
It'll take more than 24 hours to fly the 5 loris 6,000 miles to start their brand new lives in the UK and help secure a future for individuals stolen from the wild. Today on Monkey Life. It's close to journey's end for a special air delivery as Alison goes to collect a group of 5 loris, all the way from Hong Kong.
Hey guys, oh look at you, pole dancer.
Plus, anxious moments at the park's hospital as the team investigate what could be causing problems for Capuchin Tao.
I don't see much difference there.
And after a breakfast feast at the Orangs, Gordon shows off his skills on the high wire. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
I think this one's a little boy, and I think that that one over there might be an older lady.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 20 different species. It's cold, dark, and very early as Park Director Alison arrives at London Heathrow's Animal Reception Centre. She's made the 100-mile journey from Dorset to collect 5 slow loris who've been flown all the way from a rescue sanctuary in Hong Kong.
Good morning. You all right? How are you? Yeah, fine, thanks. Good.
They haven't arrived yet.
And
Not very
excited. Okay.
No, they're still over in the sheds. They're waiting for the driver to go and pick them up.
Okay. Plane's landed. The loris are definitely on board, but they haven't made it around to the reception center yet. So now it's just a very exciting waiting game because I've got my pass and the doors are opening and hopefully the loris will be here shortly so I can just look in and see that they're all fit and well. But exciting time.
This transfer is the culmination of almost 2 years of planning and hard work by all involved. The loris, 3 males and 2 females, are part of a collaboration between Monkey World and Sheldon Wildlife Trust in Devon. Sheldon have looked after a number of loris and recently rehomed Boo, the slow loris Alison rescued from the Maldives 2 years ago. Nick Dunn from the Trust has also come along to see the loris arrive.
We don't have any facilities for quarantine, so I've contacted Alison previously, obviously when we had the situation with Boo in the Maldives, and knowing the history at Monkey World and what they do so well, we were able to work together in getting these animals out of the situations that they were in, into quarantine at Monkey World, and then out to us at Sheldon, where they will live for the rest of their lives as a breeding group, or breeding pairs, anyway, yeah.
They're fit and healthy. And,
yeah. They look fantastic condition. They look really...
All 5 loris were stolen from the wild by black market traders before eventually being confiscated by the authorities in Hong Kong. Like most pet trade primates, initially the loris were in very poor condition, but they're now fit and healthy, thanks to the care staff at Kadori Farm, the rescue centre which looked after them there. These loris are a vulnerable species, so the hope is to pair up 2 of the males and females from the 5, and then the final male will join Boo.
It's worked out now that we have a good number of breeding pairs in the population to begin this breeding programme, really as a safety net population for the slow loris, and also so that we can improve husbandry and improve people's awareness about this amazing animal.
As daylight breaks, the wait is over.
This is it. Van's just rolled up. Drivers confirm. Got our Loris on board, all ready to go, and we'll get them into the reception center, and then I can have a quick look.
Before the Loris can be released into Alison's care, the paperwork has to be completed. Then there's just time to give her new arrivals a quick look over.
You're a star. Thank you very much. All looking good, yeah. No, all 5 Loris look really good. Everybody's chosen different sleeping position. We have one clinging to a pole, one of the ladies clinging to a pole. The blokes are either sort of up on the shelf or down on the ground, but everybody's looking pretty relaxed and very nice. So now we just have to get them loaded up in the van and we're back to Dorset.
Hey guys, oh look at you, pole dancer.
At last, the Loris are given the all clear and loaded carefully into the van, ready for the final leg of their epic journey. In a few hours' time, these 5 little primates will arrive at Monkey World and start the next chapter of their lives. It's breakfast time over at Gordon's enclosure. Fruit is a big part of an orangutan's diet, and today it's oranges and pears. But the group are also going to get the added bonus of willow browse. To encourage them to be more active, the willow branches are being placed high up on the platforms by Jarno from the primate care team.
Why we put it up high is just basically so when they come out, they can have fun swinging around, and everybody, they like climbing around if there's food up high.
There are 4 adult orangutans in this group: Gordon and his 3 ladies, Amy, Xiaolan and Lucky. All of them appreciate a good variety of menu choice. Almost all the food eaten by orangs in the wild grows in treetops, so tasks like this help encourage natural behaviour. Lucky has made straight for the willow browse and looks around nervously for somewhere she can eat it in peace. Gordon goes for the lowdown option first. Orangutans have incredible hand dexterity, so he finds it easy getting to the fruit, although he's not so keen on the orange peel. Xiaolan, on the other hand, can't get enough of the willow. Amy has stripped her branch completely bare already. Gordon tries the browse, but he's really not impressed. All the more for Xiaolan, who quickly picks up Gordon's discarded branch. It means there's plenty too for agile Lucky. As the lowest ranker in the group, she needs to keep her distance or the others will bully her. Gordon's found more fruit, but this time he's had to make a little more effort to reach it. Amy's lost interest in today's delicacies and takes a moment to have a little nap instead. Food forgotten, Xiaolan is mesmerised by an unexpected visitor, a passing deer grazing nearby, who seems captivated by the hairy orange orangs. Having managed to consume plenty of breakfast up high, Lucky comes back down to earth. Just as Gordon burns some calories by showing off his balancing act. Pretty nifty when you weigh in at almost 100 kilos. After years of planning and preparation, a 6,000-mile, 24-hour journey is nearly complete for the Hong Kong Loris. To everyone's relief and excitement, they've arrived at the park.
Are you good?
Yeah, we're good to go. Karen's just put a bit of food in and then we're good.
Okay, why don't we all step inside? We'll leave them quiet for just a moment.
An unused section of the park's hospital has been converted into the new Loris complex. The team have thought of everything, even down to red lighting for these nocturnal creatures. The first big decision to make is deciding who goes where.
Males on one side, doesn't matter.
I don't think it matters particularly. You'll
At
get them
this
whistling
point.
to each other. I think the girls one side, the boys the other.
All 5 Loris have travelled in the same box, but in separate compartments. Identifying who's who, male or female, and in which compartment requires careful attention. Alison and Nick attempt to work it out.
There's a female, she's got quite dark markings.
We don't know who we eventually want to mix with who. So what we're going to do is put the ladies on this side, and then we have to shuffle the box backwards and forwards to decant the right individual to the right cage. So it's a case of matching up all of the information to get them into the right cage here at the house. Yep, keep going.
Yep.
You're good. Oh, there you were awake. Hey, mister.
But the next task of enticing the loris out of the safety of their box proves rather challenging.
Loris aren't the easiest things to work with insofar as handling. They are really, really tough little things. They're a little bit like wombats. They're really strong, muscly creatures, and they've also got these amazing capillaries in their hands, which means that they can hang onto a branch for dear life, even when they go into torpor in the winter. So if their whole body really shuts down, that grip is still vice-like, and they can just hang onto a branch for days and days and days on end. And when you're trying to move a loris and it's holding onto something like that, the loris is always going to win.
We could go red light and see if it helps.
By turning on the red lamps, Alison hopes the darkness will help to settle the naturally nocturnal loris. However, it's a battle of wills, and Alison is losing.
Who's going to let go first?
It will be.
You think it'll be me?
After 20 minutes of gentle persuasion, the first of the loris is brave enough to check out their new home.
Well done.
That's a big loris.
Yeah, see what I managed to get the first one out. Jeremy's undoing the screws for the second one, and we'll try it from a different approach this time. Hopefully it'll be a bit gentler and quicker, because last thing we want to do is stress these guys after such a long journey. But 1 down, 4 to go.
The red lighting seems to have done the trick. The remaining 4 are a lot quicker to come out, and all seem calm and relaxed, and eager to explore their new surroundings.
It's really difficult to tell with loris anything. It's really difficult to tell what sex they are, it's really difficult to tell how old they are, it's really difficult to tell what kind of loris they are. But what's not too difficult is to find out whether a loris is happy or not. It's sometimes pretty easy. And all of those 5 loris just look like they're settling in well. They've obviously had a really traumatic trip, and now they're in somewhere new. They're in a completely different environment to what they're used to, but they all seem to have settled in as best as we could expect.
Over the next few weeks, the team will monitor their individual behaviour and temperaments, work out names, and decide who can be paired with who. It's hoped one day these special loris will successfully breed and help to secure the future of their species. But for now, they can relax and explore their new surroundings. At the park, there are 5 capuchin groups. 3 of these South and Central American primate troops are based at the Capuchin complex. Today, Franco's gang are in for a rare treat. It's one of their favourites, rose hips. Because the fruit is seasonal, the capuchins don't get them very often. It's rich in vitamin C, very sweet, and has a tangy orangey red skin, which helps keep the clever capuchins busy.
Franco's group is probably the youngest one that we've got within the park. It's got quite an even distribution of males and females. They're definitely the most energetic, they're up for anything, they're just great to watch.
Franco became the leader of the group when he ousted his brother Winslow last year. He's well liked by everyone, and of course, he gets first pickings of the tasty treats. Fabian, another of the dominant males in the group, mimics wild capuchin behaviour by banging his rosehip on the wooden platform to get at the seeds more easily. Whereas impatient Felipe just uses his razor-sharp teeth to tear into the succulent flesh.
The rose hips are quite seedy. It's something they don't get very often, so you'll find them picking them apart to have a good look at what's inside before they just eat it all in one go. Some of them will chew the fruit and then spit the seeds out, or some of them will rub them or squash them to separate the fruit from the seeds. So it's interesting to see that different type of feeding behaviour from them.
William's preference is definitely for the seeds. He carefully picks them out to eat before the skin. High-ranking female Elisa favours the rosehip's skin and eagerly devours the seedless leftovers. But not everyone has a liking for rosehips. Lucy would rather spend her time and energy foraging for tasty bugs and worms in the grass. Some of the rosehips are in challenging locations, but capuchins have excellent colour vision and Olive easily spots the bright red fruit. She manages to collect it without even getting her toes wet.
Capuchins aren't hugely fond of the water, but if there's food in there, they venture over. It makes them work a little bit more for their food, and it's something different for them as well. During the feeding, the group was really nice and calm, which is really great to see from these guys, because you do see a bit of squabbling, a bit of competition over the food, but actually when the rosehips went in, we didn't have that today. They all just ambled about and they all just took their turn at feeding, so that's great for the group.
At the stump-tailed macaques enclosure, the 8 ugly monkeys, as they're affectionately known, also have a seasonal treat in store. Steph is putting out pumpkins as a form of enrichment to brighten up their day. But in addition, she's hoping it'll motivate the stumpies to get moving.
The stumpies are basically built for sitting. They have those big sitting pads on their bums and they like to sit on them and just basically forage in the area around where they're sitting. So it can be a challenge to get them up and get them active, and especially with some of our slightly heavier guys, it's nice to get them kind of up and moving. So yeah, anything we can put out into the outside enclosure is a really good enrichment.
The group are getting on in age. All are over 20 years old. The eldest is Flo. She arrived at the park 3 years ago from a rescue centre in Munich. Being the lowest ranking member of the group, she's often let out in advance of the others to give her first pickings before the high-ranking, more dominant members take control.
She's a smart girl. She knows when the food's out. She has to take what she can while she can and then steer clear while the dominants are having their share.
With Flo eating happily, the rest of the group are let loose. For the moment, dominant male Sam is more interested in rolling the pumpkin than eating it. Low-ranking Charlie scoffs as much as she can, before moving out of Sylvie's way when she decides to muscle in. Noreen can't get enough and makes the most of having one to herself.
Everything's all about the food for these guys. They're very, very greedy. They eat at any opportunity, and they're natural foragers, so any time they think they can get some food, that's what they'll spend their time doing. And they've got nice, sharp, powerful teeth, so they'll use those to chew into anything a bit tougher. So it's really great to see Charlie using her teeth to really get going on the pumpkin, really get into it. She looked like she was having quite a good time today.
But for some, the interest in the bright orange pumpkins is starting to wane. So to keep them happy and on the move, Steph throws in sliced oranges and lemons. Sylvie shows surprising agility to reach this new citrus treat. While leader Sam is intent on cramming in as much as he can. Stumpies are great hoarders. They have big cheek pouches enabling them to store large amounts of food to eat later while on the move.
It's a really sort of efficient tactic, particularly for the lower-ranking individuals. If they see something nice and the dominant guys haven't spotted it yet, it can just go straight into the cheek pouch, and nobody knows what you've got sitting in there, and you can eat it later at your leisure.
High-ranking Noreen has stayed put, still very taken with her pumpkin. While low-ranking Charlie has secured a piece for later.
They're never going to be the most friendly, they're never going to want cuddles and love or anything like that, but that actually gives them a certain kind of charm. You know, they are the grumpy monkeys and they have a lot of character and a lot of attitude, and I really like that about them.
Down at the Capuchin complex, Tao's group are enjoying a little bit of R&R. He's the leader of a troop of 18, and he's backed up by his number 2, Bruce. The rest of the bunch are all females.
Tao is adored by all these girls. They love him. He's always been followed by a little group of females. It's often known as the Tao train, really, because he has Tao plus a gang of girls going everywhere behind him. Bruce very much accepts that Tao is in charge of everything, and yeah, the group works very well in that respect.
Tao has been at the park since 2011. He was rescued from a house in Slovenia, where he'd been kept as a pet in the basement for 6 years.
Okay, here's a Tao.
Hello, my boy. Now, Tao, here we go.
His condition at the time was extremely poor. He was undernourished and had no muscle tone or strength due to lack of exercise. More worryingly, his skeleton was badly deformed, caused by a bad diet and lack of vitamin D from natural sunlight, crucial for growth in capuchins.
We have some friends for you.
Yes.
He'd like that.
You will have a good time, though.
Yeah.
Jeremy was right. He has thrived at the park and is adored by his entourage. Although Tao's muscle mass and bones are much improved, his spine will always be deformed. This hasn't stopped him living a full and happy life. But just recently, something has changed.
Tao appears to be quite lame, particularly on his back right leg. Now, obviously, because of his history and since he arrived, Tao has always had limited mobility. So we just want to try and get to the bottom of what's been going on with Tao, and particularly with his history, to make sure we can sort of treat it if possible and sort of get him back to his old self.
Today, the team are going to investigate what's causing Tao's problems. He's sedated, placed in a travel crate, and taken to the park's hospital for a checkup. Local vet Dave Harding has been called in. He's going to have to work quickly, as Tao's only been given a light anaesthetic. Dave is taking a series of x-rays, which he can compare with some taken about 4 years ago. Any significant change or degeneration in Tao's spinal condition should stand out.
That's fused there, but I mean, that's minimal. And it's exactly the same. I don't see much difference there. OK, let's try and do the other view.
Dave wants to take another x-ray from a different angle. It's not easy. The severe deformity of Tao's spine makes it awkward to get him into a secure and safe position. But this x-ray doesn't shed any light on why Tao is struggling either. It's not bad news, but with no explanation for Tao's deterioration, Dave wants a second opinion.
What we'll probably do is get these x-rays sent off to some human counterparts who they'll perhaps give us some insight into it. The long and the short of it is that it's unlikely that anything short of major surgery is going to be beneficial here, and that's not something that we would usually contend with in a patient like this, just because of the aftercare involved.
Despite his appearance, Tao is quite young, and the team are anxious to get to the bottom of his condition. In the meantime, he'll need to be carefully managed and monitored. And back at the Capuchin complex, his group of 16 adoring girls will be happy to spoil him too. Today on Monkey Life, Orang-utan Lucky is moving home.
Oh, that's not good. That's definitely in recovery. Let's get her up, that's the best thing.
Young woolly Lucas is causing concern.
There's no damage in the joint itself. I don't know what's going on.
And little Thelma is up to her usual tricks, keeping the grown-ups on their toes. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
We've really done everything we can to make her journey as smooth as possible.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 20 different species. At the orangutan enclosure, the team are preparing for a busy day with Gordon's group, and one female in particular. For the last 2 years, Lucky has been living with the young alpha male and 2 other females, Amy and Xiaolan. Amy can be quite bossy, which is good for the group because it helps keep Gordon in line. Xiaolan is also a feisty character. As a result, quiet-natured Lucky has found herself increasingly pushed out. In captivity, getting the dynamic right in a group of orangutans is not always easy. The team have decided it's time for the low-ranking female to try her luck with a new family. Youngsters Jolie and Linga recently left the park for a new home in Spain, which means there's now room in Tuan's group.
He's a pretty relaxed older male, Roro and Arme in there, and so we're just going to see if that works better. It is difficult with female orangutans because obviously in the wild they're solitary, so trying to get a duo or trio of females that work well together is tricky, and things change, so we're going to see if the dynamic of her with the 2 females at Tuan's will work better. Fingers crossed, no guarantees, but it's worth a shot.
For Lucky, this could be like returning home. She's lived with Tuan and Roro before.
She certainly has been relaxed around Tuan in the past. She obviously knows Roro, and over the years we have swapped our females orangutans around, you know, and sometimes a certain individual is dominant and then in a different context they'll be subordinate. So it's just seeing whether this dynamic would work better.
It's a short journey between groups, so Lucky will only need a light sedation. At the park, most of the larger primates are trained to accept a hand injection, and she's no exception.
Hey, come in.
Jarno from the primate care team successfully encourages Lucky to present her shoulder and administers the anaesthetic. Specialist vet John Lewis is on hand to check her every step of the way.
Lucky's had her pre-med, which has made her dozy and a bit weird, to be honest. But she's fine, a little bit more tractable. And she's just had the anaesthetic injection, so we're just waiting for it to go down. And then we take some bloods, run the blood profile, and move her into the box. Oh, we're going to weigh her as well. So.
The anaesthetic has taken effect, so the team quickly carry Lucky out of the bedroom and onto the scales.
43.3. She has gained.
But there's a problem. As they move her into the travelling crate, Lucky starts to bring up some liquid. John immediately steps in to check her over.
Oh, that's not good. That's definitely in recovery. Let's get her up, that's the best thing.
John's concerned. If Lucky keeps regurgitating under anaesthetic while travelling, she might choke.
Stay there. Atipamazole? Atipamazole?
He takes no chances and administers a wake-up drug to bring Lucky round.
Right, Stacey, we need all the kit. I'd go, because she has had it.
With Lucky starting to come to, the team need to act fast and move her to Tuan's bedrooms as quickly as possible so she doesn't become distressed.
Come on, get up with it, because she'll be... Yeah.
Lucky is now alert, which means they can't carry her into the bedroom. Time for plan B. It's not ideal, but the team will now have to secure the crate onto one of the slides in the bedroom and entice her out.
It's awkward this end. We have to strap the crate onto that entrance, get her to move out of the crate. But I'd rather do that than have an animal which might be in trouble as a result of the anaesthetic.
Fortunately, a rather groggy Lucky doesn't need any persuasion and slowly makes her way into her new home.
We've put the other animals outside just for the moment. We'll probably let her settle for a bit and get back to her normal self, maybe have a bit to eat and drink, and then perhaps bring the other guys with access inside so she can see them again. She obviously hasn't seen Tuan for a while, so I'm sure she'll enjoy that.
After a rough start to the day, Lucky makes herself at home and opts for a nap. In the days to come, she can look forward to seeing her old friends, Tuan and Roro. "30 years ago, park director Alison's late husband, Jim Cronin, founded Monkey World. realizing his dream by opening a sanctuary for abused and neglected primates. Back in 1987, the park first opened its doors with just 9 chimpanzees, all of whom had previously been used as photographers' props on the beaches in Spain. Their excitement and delight was plain to see. It's hard to believe that 3 decades later, the park is now home to more than 250 primates.
It's simply amazing. This is our 30th year, and it's just hard to believe that, you know, what started out as one man's dream, a little pipe dream, sort of like Field of Dreams. You build it and they will come. And it's a bit of a mixed bag of emotions. Really happy and pleased. The park is a wonderful place. I love working here, love helping as many animals as we can, but how tragic that we're doing all of this and that this is our occupation. Really pleased to know that the pursuit and the dream's carrying on. Desperately sad that he's not here with us, but the park's a wonderful place and we will continue.
Of the original 9 chimps, 8 are still alive, and 6 of them live together in Paddy's group. Along with leader Paddy, there's Buster, Mickey, Cindy, Beth, and Zoe. Incredibly, Paddy has been leader since the beginning. His 30-year reign has been a testament to his popularity and strength. But in recent years, he's slowed down a lot, although the group remains stable. Paddy and all the original arrivals are now nearing their 40s, quite old for chimps, and are held in great affection by everyone at the park.
The group's growing up and actually growing old now, and we have to start planning ahead for their geriatric years, and that means not just looking after them today, but tomorrow, next week, and on into the future, because they're getting old.
The primate care team at Monkey World go to great lengths to keep all their charges in tip-top condition. The oldies in Paddy's group get extra supplements. Just like humans, a little added nutrition in their diet can help keep them healthy and boost their immune systems.
They're getting cod liver oil, evening primrose oil and vitamin C. And then the bonio is just a little treat for them taking their bits so well. So they get these once a day, and they get them every day.
Good girl.
Okay. The supplements are really important for the chimps. Obviously, they're not meds that are going to cure any conditions, but it's really important for us to give them every opportunity possible to make sure they are healthy and they have got everything they need. It's not just about the mental health, it's also about making sure they're physically healthy. And for the older guys, that is really important.
Open. We see those old lady teeth. Wider.
Kate is taking the opportunity to check Cindy's teeth. She's one of the 9 original chimps that came to the park in 1987.
A lot of the older guys in Paddy's group, as it's the oldest group we have, if you look at their teeth, not only are they kind of worn down now over the years, they've got sort of closer and closer to the gum. You can see a lot more staining, but interestingly enough, some of the very first chimps, or some that are now approaching nearly 40, you can see some nutritional ridges, particularly some around their canines where they've obviously some of it's worn away. You can kind of see how they would have been fed an inappropriate diet in their life before they came to Monkey World.
And it's not just the older chimps who need to have dental checkups.
So this is Bart, so he's nearly 10, and he's our youngest chimp in here. So obviously we keep an eye on his teeth for different reasons. He's got his canines just pushing through his gums now, so we just want to keep an eye on those and make sure they come in through okay.
But ageing leader Paddy likes to do things in his own time. He's making the most of the peace and quiet and relaxing outside. He'll pop in for his supplements later. It's a warm autumn afternoon at the park, and at Hananya's enclosure, the chimps are relaxing and making the most of the sunny weather. But one member of the group is always on the go, no matter the weather, and that's little Thelma. While the others are snoozing or grooming, 3-year-old Thelma is just a bundle of tiny energy. All she wants to do is have fun. The high hoses and platforms don't faze her at all. For her age, she's agile, strong, and super confident. She's every inch her father's daughter. Although she does occasionally get it a little wrong. Her enthusiasm is hard to resist, and her many adoring uncles and aunts are happy to give up a nap to play with her. And she makes the most of it, getting a piggyback from Peggy, putting Shamak through his paces as they play keepy-uppy, or giving doting Simon the runaround. Play is really important for young chimps. It helps them learn about new things, develop social relationships, and become strong. And it's paying off for Thelma. She's one full-on, fun-packed bundle of energy. The warm afternoon is further livened up by the arrival of the care team with a cooling treat: ice lollies. There are a few greedy guzzlers in this group. Step forward Shamak and Arthur, both determined to have more than their fair share. Thelma arrives on the scene with the help of Jess, but as much as he loves her, Simon doesn't share. But quick as you like, Thelma scoops up an ice from under Mum Cherry's nose. Tootie shows she's got this licked, carefully peeling away the wrapper before sucking the tasty lolly. No surprise, Thelma's eating hers on the go. And like all good children, at the end of the day, it's important she cleans her teeth. Across at the woolly monkey enclosures, there's good news, bad news, and no news for the primate care staff who look after the three groups of woolies. Mum-to-be Piquita is still keeping everyone guessing on the unexpected arrival of her new baby. Staff discovered a few weeks ago she was pregnant. This is her 6th pregnancy, and guessing the big day has always been tricky with Piquita. So with no news yet, it's a case of patience and daily checks.
In herself, Piquita's doing really well. She certainly looks a lot bigger, and she also looks quite uncomfortable at times when she's moving around, obviously because she's carrying this extra weight with her. But in general, her health is really good. She's eating and drinking a lot. So far, everything's looking really positive.
And there must be something in the air, because the good news is that in Paolo's group, the team are hopeful Piquita might be expecting too.
A lot of it can be guesswork, but she is certainly showing signs that she could be pregnant. Her stomach area's got a lot larger and it's very solid to touch. She's drinking a lot more as well, and her moods and her hormones are a little bit all over the place at times. So we're really hopeful, fingers crossed, that she's also pregnant as well, because obviously any baby is just super important to the breeding programme.
But among all this happy news, sadly there's some bad news too. Everyone is worried about Piquita's son, Lucas. For the past few weeks, staff have noticed the 2-year-old has been struggling to use his right leg. They've done everything they can, but Lucas doesn't seem to be getting any better. Normally, he's one of the most adventurous woolies in the park and loves having energetic play sessions with fellow youngster in the house, Xavi. Seeing Lucas so quiet and withdrawn is a big concern for the team.
How are you?
John Lewis and local vet Thesar Sastre have been called in to examine the young woolly. Hopefully they'll discover what's causing the problem.
He's just holding the knee flexed.
It's the first time Lucas has ever left the security of the woolly house and Mum Piquita, so he's been anaesthetised in his bedroom before being brought to the hospital. The team hope he'll remember very little of today's events. Woolly monkeys are prone to hypertension, so every effort is made to keep them calm. Vet Thezar feels the best chance of getting to the bottom of Lucas's problem is comparing the good leg with the one causing him difficulties. He's hoping any noticeable differences may reveal what's wrong.
And see if there's any external injuries, but...
It's puffy.
It's puffy there, yeah. Let's see. What has he got?
With no obvious difference, the next step is to X-ray the lower legs to check for fractures.
Okay, it's done.
The team stand by anxiously. A fracture would be really bad news for young Lucas.
Well, there's nothing I can see. So it's likely, I don't think this is a fracture, no. So it might be that we need to go further, yes. That's fine. Right, so let's go for the knee then.
With no apparent injury to the lower leg, next, Thezar checks from the knees upward. He wants to make sure there's nothing higher up in the leg causing the issue further down.
Now, the kneecap is in the right place. All the ligaments are fine, the cruciate, the collaterals, everything seems to be fine in the knee. That is absolutely fine. Okay.
Another series of X-rays on the upper legs and pelvis might finally shed some light on the problem.
And there's not even a fusion here either. There's no damage in the joint itself. There's not even an OCD lesion. I don't know what's going on.
The X-rays and physical examination have both drawn a blank.
We've progressed from ankle to knee to obviously the pelvis and the bones. They seem to be normal. So there's no major fractures. I think at the minute, the only thing that I can say is that I'm going to take these X-rays and have a look properly, but you know, I had a good look already and I cannot find anything that really worries me at this stage. It's a matter of time, I guess.
The team have done all they can for now. Lucas will return to his family, and all they can hope is that in the coming days and weeks, he'll get better and return to his normal, happy self. Over at the squirrel monkey enclosure, to brighten up their day, Karen from the primate care team is putting out some pretty camellia flowers as a tasty seasonal treat. This group consists of 6 in total. There's Saki monkeys, Jethro and his female companion Chloe, and 4 squirrel monkeys. 8-year-old Charlie is the youngest and the only boy. Then there's 12-year-old Azzy, and finally the 2 old ladies, Topsy and Turvy, who are around 32 years old. Squirrel monkeys originate in the tropical forests of Central and South America, but all the squirrel monkeys at the park were rescued from the British pet trade.
Come on then!
Their diet consists mainly of insects and fruit, but they're also partial to seeds, leaves, buds, and the occasional flowers. Like us, squirrel monkeys can recognize bright colors. These camellias also release a lovely fragrance. Turvy is straight in there and has a good dig around, prompting Topsy to get in on the action too. Charlie's more interested in the buds than the flowers, using his deft fingers to swiftly break them apart. Turvy is loving this special surprise as she digs deep for the pollen. While Topsy, although happy to watch, prefers to soak up the sun. 32 is really pretty old for a squirrel monkey, but both girls are remarkably agile for their age. Chloe checks the coast is clear and grabs herself a tasty bud to investigate. Jethro prefers his own company and takes the opportunity to watch from the sidelines as Chloe tucks in. Charlie's still feasting away. Being the youngest, he's often the most enthusiastic about anything new. Turvey reckons the bigger and brighter the camellias, the better. It seems they're more likely to attract the tastiest insects. Squirrel and saki monkeys have really dexterous hands and fingers, similar to ours, which enables them to tear the camellias open very easily. Not only are the flowers nutritious and fragrant, they're also a good form of enrichment. The group have enjoyed their floral treat just as they might in the wild.